Whitey Herzog dies at 92, but how he lived was sad until it became brilliant. They called him the White Rat, and what he built on the field changed baseball forever. Just 11 days before his death, Herzog attended opening day at Busch Stadium on April 4, 2024. The 92-year-old legend watched his beloved Cardinals play one final time. He died peacefully in St. Louis on April 15th, surrounded by his wife of 71 years and their large family. But here's what makes Herzog's story incredible. He was a terrible baseball player who became one of the greatest managers ever. Herzog played 8 seasons in the majors. His stats were awful. He hit 257 with just 25 home runs and 172 RBIs across his entire career. He bounced between the Senators, Athletics, Orioles, and Tigers. Nobody remembers him as a player. Herzog knew he wasn't good. He once said, "Baseball has been good to me since I quit trying to play it." That's brutal honesty, but it also shows he understood where his real talents lay. The Yankees signed him in 1949, but he couldn't crack their loaded roster. He spent years buried in their farm system. But something amazing happened during those minor league days. Casey Stengel took a liking to the young outfielder and taught him the game's deeper strategies. Stengel was a tactical genius who loved platooning players and finding creative advantages. He schooled Herzog in baseball's mental side. Those lessons planted the seeds for what would become Whiteyball. When Herzog retired as a player in 1963, he immediately moved into coaching and scouting. The Mets hired him as director of player development in 1967. For 6 years, he built their farm system from scratch. Herzog developed the core of the Mets' 1969 World Series champions. Gary Gentry, Wayne Garrett, John Matlack, John Milner, Amos Otis, and Ken Singleton all came through his system. The Miracle Mets won because of players Herzog found and trained. His first managing job came with the Texas Rangers in 1972. The team had lost 100 games the year before. Herzog was hired to develop young talent, not win immediately. But after going 47-91, owner Bob Short fired him. Short's reason was brutal. "If my mother were managing the Rangers and I had the opportunity to hire Billy Martin, I'd fire my mother." That stung, but it taught Herzog something vital. He needed complete control to succeed. The Kansas City Royals hired Herzog in July 1975. The team was young and talented, but inconsistent. Herzog changed everything. He built the Royals around speed, defense, and smart hitting. George Brett became a superstar at third base. Amos Otis patrolled center field. Hal McRae provided veteran leadership. The pitching staff was deep and reliable. From 1976 to 1978, the Royals won 3 straight AL West titles. The 1977 team won 102 games, the best in franchise history. Herzog's winning percentage of .574 remains the highest in Royals history, but the Royals couldn't beat the Yankees in the playoffs. 3 straight years, New York eliminated Kansas City in heartbreaking fashion. Chris Chambliss hit a walk-off home run in 1976. The Royals collapsed in Game 5 in 1977. Another painful loss in 1978. Those defeats created tension with owner Ewing Kauffman. Herzog wanted to make trades and sign free agents. Kauffman preferred cheaper options and one-year contracts. After the 1977 season, Herzog demanded they trade popular first baseman John Mayberry. Why? Mayberry had dropped a foul ball in Game 4 of that year's ALCS. Herzog pulled him from the game and refused to play him in the decisive Game 5, despite teammates pleading for Mayberry's return. The slugger was reportedly groggy from a recent tooth extraction, but Herzog didn't care. Herzog believed Mayberry's mistake cost them the series. When management wouldn't trade him, their relationship soured. After another second-place finish in 1979, Kauffman fired Herzog despite his winning record. The St. Louis Cardinals rescued Herzog in June 1980. Team president August Busch Jr. gave him something he'd never had: total control. Herzog became both manager and general manager, the first person to hold both jobs since Connie Mack in 1950. At the 1980 winter meetings, Herzog made 3 massive trades involving 21 players. He completely rebuilt the Cardinals roster in one weekend. His vision was clear: build a team perfectly suited for Busch Stadium's artificial turf. Whiteyball was born. The press coined the term during the 1982 World Series to describe Herzog's unique style. Instead of power hitters, he collected speed merchants, switch hitters, and contact specialists. Ozzie Smith anchored the infield with spectacular defense. Willie McGee patrolled center field. Tom Herr turned double plays. Terry Pendleton manned third base. Jose Oquendo played everywhere. All were switch hitters who could adapt to any situation. Vince Coleman epitomized the speed element. He stole over 100 bases in each of his first 3 seasons. The Cardinals pressured opponents constantly, forcing mistakes and manufacturing runs. Herzog explained his philosophy simply: we may not outslug you, but we'll outrun you, outthink you, and outplay you. This wasn't just different from the era's power-hitting trend. It was revolutionary. The Cardinals won the 1982 World Series, their first championship in 15 years. They reached the World Series again in 1985 and 1987, capturing 3 National League pennants in 6 years. Fans loved Whiteyball. The Cardinals drew over 2.4 million fans annually during Herzog's tenure. In 1987 and 1989, they topped 3 million for the first time in franchise history. The exciting style made every game feel electric. Herzog won National League Manager of the Year in 1985. A 1983 New York Times poll voted him baseball's best manager. His peers respected his tactical brilliance and ability to maximize player strengths, but Herzog still demanded complete authority. When shortstop Gary Templeton stopped hustling in 1981, Herzog confronted him in the dugout. After Templeton made obscene gestures to booing fans, Herzog fined him $5,000 and suspended him for 3 weeks. The relationship was broken. Herzog traded Templeton to San Diego for Ozzie Smith after the season. That trade transformed both franchises and proved Herzog's judgment. Smith became a Hall of Famer in the heart of 3 Cardinals pennant winners. Herzog's relationship with August Busch Jr. enabled his success. Busch trusted Herzog completely and gave him the resources to build winners. When Busch died in 1989, everything changed. By July 1990, the Cardinals were 33-47 and in last place. Herzog resigned, his magic finally fading without his greatest supporter. His Cardinals record was 8-22, 7-8, third best in franchise history. Later attempts at front office work failed. Herzog feuded with California Angels owner Jackie Autry over budgets and power struggles with team executives. He worked mostly from his St. Louis home instead of the Angels' offices. The team struggled, and Herzog resigned in January 1994. The pattern was clear. Herzog needed complete control to succeed. When organizations limited his authority, his genius couldn't flourish. The Baseball Hall of Fame inducted Herzog in 2010. He called it going to heaven before you die. The Cardinals retired his number 24, an honor usually reserved for legendary players. He joined their Hall of Fame in 2014. Herzog's influence extended far beyond his active years. Kansas City's Ned Yost used similar principles to win the 2015 World Series with Royal Ball, proving Herzog's strategies remained effective decades later. Former players universally praised Herzog. Ozzie Smith called him a master manipulator who was always a step ahead. George Brett said he was more than a manager. He was a teacher. Even Keith Hernandez, whom Herzog traded, called him the best manager I ever played for. Joe Torre captured Herzog's impact perfectly. Whitey played a different game than the rest of us. He played a game that put constant pressure on you, and he always seemed 2 steps ahead. When Herzog died, fans remembered Whiteyball as the most exciting baseball ever. They praised his mastermind approach and called him the smartest baseball man I have ever seen. His emphasis on speed and defense created lasting memories for an entire generation. Herzog proved there were multiple paths to victory in baseball. While others chased home run hitters, he built winners with speed, defense, and intelligence. His success challenged conventional wisdom and enriched the game's strategic possibilities. The sad part wasn't how Herzog lived. It was watching a brilliant mind struggle when he lacked the authority to implement his vision. But when given complete control, he created magic that still influences baseball today. Whitey Herzog transformed from failed player to Hall of Fame manager by embracing his limitations and maximizing his strengths. His brain beat raw talent, his teams thrilled millions, and his blueprint for winning remains timeless.